Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening for loving kindness meditation. I hope that the loving kindness meditation that you do every Wednesday night, together with everybody else, together with our meditation community, brings you happiness, peace, relaxation, and comfort. Now, as we know, in the lunar calendar, we are now in the 7th month. And in the last session, I explained the significance of the Hungry Ghost festivals, which occurs on the 15th of the 7th month. I also mentioned that according to the Buddhist cosmology, people do get reborn as pettas or hungry ghosts, pettas, peta, P-E-T-A, or in plural, pettas, hungry ghosts. This is a result of strong greed and attachment and not having done enough merits. So this is when we have to put our greeds into check, because some people, no matter how much they have, they are still not satisfied. And it is this greed and attachment, when they pass away, they are reborn as hungry ghosts, simply because they get us attached to their house, their possession, the people, whatever it is, the property. They come back as hungry ghosts. And the state of hungry ghosts is that they are characterized by a deep sense of wanting. And this is a state where the needs are never fulfilled. Can you imagine that you're always feeling very frustrated because your needs are never fulfilled? And they can get trapped in this stage for a long time because it goes round and round. Like when a person is in depression, they don't seem to be able to get themselves out of the situation. And that's the situation with hungry ghosts. I also mentioned about the Sanskrit Ulambana Sutta. So you will hear about the Ulambana Sutra in many Chinese temples tend to have this ceremony. The sutra mentioned about Moggallana, who is one of the chief disciples of the Buddha, and he wanted to find out where his mother was, and eventually the journey took him to the Hungry Ghost realm, and he saw that the mother was there, and so he returned back to the Buddha to ask for advice, and the Buddha asked him to perform some meritorious action and transfer merits to the mother, and that's how the mother was freed from the state of hungry ghosts. In the Pali Sutras, there is an equivalent to this. This is in the Pitavatu, where Sariputta made offerings to the Buddha and the Sangha to save his mother from previous 5 births from the Petra world. We have been wandering in this birth and death, which we call samsara, through endless time. And in our journey, we would have different parents. So this was the mother from the 5th birth from where he was, 5th past birth, okay? And the manner in which merits can be transferred to departed relatives is explained in a sutra called Tirokudda Sutta. Tirokudda Sutta. And this comes with a nice story that I will share with you. You know, after the Buddha's enlightenment and Bodhgaya, then immediately he went over to Saranath, where he met the first 5 disciples, and then that grew into 60 disciples. And there was a rainy season, 3 months. At the end of the rainy season, he asked the monks to go in different directions in order to spread the good word, whereas he himself went back to the place where he was enlightened, where there was the Naranjara River. Very close there was the brothers, Kassapa brothers, 3 brothers, and amongst them they have about 1,000 followers. So the Buddha went there and converted them into disciples of the Buddha, and together the Buddha, together with 1,000 disciples, went on foot to Rajagaha, which is the capital of Magadha, the kingdom of Magadha. The king there was called King Bimbisara. Now, earlier, before the Buddha was enlightened, the King Bimbisara has invited him to come back to the kingdom after he found the truth. So the Buddha kept his promise, and so he arrived at Rajagaha. accompanied by 1,000 disciples. And the king received news that the Buddha was coming to his kingdom. So he went with a large retinue, large entourage to meet up with the Buddha. So the Buddha didn't even reach Rajagaha. He went out to meet up the Buddha together with 1,000 disciples. And eventually, in that meeting, it was also very clear that the Kassapa brothers, who were actually famous in that region, informed the king that they became disciples of the Buddha. Okay, so after the King Bimbisara heard the teachings from the Buddha, he was very inspired, and so he offered the Buddha the bamboo grove of Veluvana. Bamboo grove is like a kind of a garden or a park in the Rajagaha, not in the center of the city, which is really ideal for the monks and the Buddha to stay. So it's close enough for people to come and offer jhana, but not so close into the city that you have the noises and the pollution of the city, right? So he offered the Buddha bamboo grove. And of course, offering the Buddha the bamboo grove and the monks was a great act of merit. But curiously enough, when the king went to sleep that night, he had terrible nightmares. Throughout his sleep, it was as if the nightmares continue one after the other. Can you imagine? When you have a nightmare, you get up, and when you go back to sleep again, you like to dream something else. But this nightmare seems to be connected. And in these nightmares, he heard terrible cries of beings screaming, calling out his name. Wow, it was a night of complete harassment and scary. And he could not get rid of the dreams that came one after the other. Of course, the king was really troubled by his dreams. And next day, he went to see the Buddha and recounted his terrible experience. And so the Buddha said that when he offered the bamboo grove and food to the Buddha, that was highly meritorious. But the king didn't do something really important. He didn't transfer merits to his departed and distant relatives. Now they have come to disturb him in his dreams. Okay? So when the king offered the bamboo grove to the Buddha, his mind was on other things. He didn't think about sharing merits. Some of his previous relatives have actually become hungry ghosts, and I'll tell you why they became hungry ghosts. And they wanted to be free from the state. And there is no way of communicating with the king and during the day, except when the king was asleep. So they appeared in his dreams and cried and groaned in order to draw the king's attention for help. Now, the Buddha mentioned that King Bimbisara, that this actually occurred in many previous lives, many lives ago. King Bimbisara was a prime minister of a kingdom. Now, it so happened that in that kingdom, the king had a son who became the Buddha, and the Buddha at that time was called Buddha Pusa. So the king's son became Buddha Pusa. And obviously the king was very happy to have a son who is a Buddha. And the king wanted to have the privilege to offer alms food to Buddha Pusa. Okay? And because the king was so, he was so devoted and dedicated to offer food, that other people don't seem to have the opportunity to offer food. So it so happened that Buddha Pusa has 3 brothers, and they too would like to make offerings to him. But their advantage was that they helped the king to put down a rebellion in a remote province. And as a reward, they asked the king for the permission to host the Buddha for 3 months. Yeah. And then after receiving the king's permission, the 3 princesses very happily approached Buddha Pusa and invited him to stay in a rural district for 3 months for the rains retreat. And the Buddha Pusa accepted this invitation. Now, upon this acceptance, the prince sent out a message to the chief minister, who later on became King Bimbisara, and asked the chief minister to organize and prepare the hosting of Buddha Pusa and the monks in the rural districts. So they have to build monasteries and wells and places to cook and So many things. They have to do so many things, right, to prepare the grounds in order to host the Buddha and the disciples. And the chief minister arranged a large number of attendants, 2,500 attendants, to serve the Sangha with requisites. So during the 3 months, the 3 princes and the chief minister, they organized 1,000 soldiers and 2,500 attendants to stay in the monastery, and they were all observing the precepts. They listened to the sermons and performed their duties to the Sangha. So the people were generally very, very happy to have the opportunity to serve the Buddha and the Sangha. However, some relatives of the chief minister were not happy. So these relatives, some of the relatives of the chief minister were not happy, and they undermined the efforts of creating a lot of obstacles for others to join the offering. They created noise and disturbed the almsgiving. The food that was prepared for the monks was taken away and fed to their own children. They even set fire to the pavilions, which was used as the station for distributing food. Now, because of the meritorious deeds of attending to the Buddha, the king, the 3 princes, and the chief ministers, they were all reborn in the same heaven when they passed away. Later on, the chief minister, in a much later birth, he came as King Bimbisara. Now, what happened to the chief minister's wicked relatives? Well, unfortunately for them, they were reborn in hell, Niraya, hell. And the wicked relatives of the chief minister was reborn in one hell after the other. Later on, they were reborn in the hungry ghosts. So they were hanging around in the hungry ghost world. Now, during the time of Buddha Pusa, which came, Buddha Kassapa, who came after Buddha Pusa, some of the relatives in the Pitta world were released because they received merits from some of their former relatives. Former relatives performed meritorious actions and transferred merits to them, so they were free, and they were reborn in happy states. They gained happiness and well-being. Unfortunately, not all the Pittas, the relatives of the chief minister, not all of them gained release because their karma was heavier, or maybe they were not related to the relatives that shared merits, because during our subsequent lives, we might have different sets of relatives. So they were disappointed, of course, and they asked Buddha Kassapa, when would they be able to gain release and enjoy happiness? And the Buddha Kassapa says, "Oh, Pittas, your time for release has not come yet. You will have to wait for the appearance of Buddha Gautama. At that time, there will be a king named Bimbisara, and he had been a relative to you in your past life. Now, King Bimbisara will make a great offering to Buddha Gautama, and then King Bimbisara will share merits with you, and then you can gain release." So upon hearing this, the Pittas all filled with so much anticipation, and they were waiting for the era to change from Buddha Kassapa to Buddha Gautama. And that's a long time. Now things begin to square up, right? So when King Bimbisara offered to the Buddha the royal meal and the bamboo grove, his relatives in the hungry ghost world stood around. They were hanging around thinking, our previous relative, King Bimbisara, will share his merits with us after his marriage to his. So they were waiting in anticipation. But unfortunately, this did not happen, because while the king was performing the merit making, King Bimbisara's mind was preoccupied with other things. He said, where would the Buddha and the monks reside? He was thinking about shelter and things like that. As a result, the king did not share merits. So the Petas that were waiting for such a long time to be released, oh, they were so disappointed naturally. So you can imagine, after waiting for such a long time, the release did not come because King Bibisara forgot to share his merits with them. Then what happened? That night, when the king was sleeping, he dreamed some terrible sounds and cries and groans, and the king was frightened, he was alarmed, and he had to report to the Buddha about the terrible sounds and noises. And the Buddha says, those were made by your previous relatives, relatives of past lives. They're now in the hungry ghost world. They have been wandering around, waiting for a really big merit that you performed yesterday. But they didn't come because you didn't share merits with them. So they were dismayed and very disappointed. Oh, okay. So when King Bibisara heard this, he said, okay, now I must do another act of great charity. He invited the Buddha for dana, and with the intention of sharing the merits with his departed ones who are in the Peta world. So King Bimbisara went back to his palace and arranged for an offering of a magnificent dana for the Buddha and the monks. And all the Petas who were the king's former relatives went to the palace today to say, today we are going to receive the sharing of merits. And so they stood outside the palace walls. They could not come in. They were hanging around, waiting. Say, today we're going to be released. Oh, today we're going to be released. You can imagine the anticipation. So when Bimbisara was making the offering to the Buddha enabled King Bimbisara to see the Petas who were his previous relatives. Suddenly, he could see that he was surrounded by so many Petas who were looking at him with such great anticipation, right? And the king poured water on the hands of the Buddha at the start of the offering ceremony and said, Edang me nyatinang hotu. This is made, this dana, made by pouring this clear water, be for the well-being of my relatives. At that moment, ponds with 5 different types of lotuses suddenly appeared. And the Peta relatives drank the water from the ponds, took bath in them, and they were freed from misery, from worry, from thirst and tiredness. So all these things were gone. And so they were almost like refreshed and cleansed, right? And when the king offered food to the Buddha and the monks, and he says that this food is offered for the benefit of his former relatives, suddenly divine food appeared. And the Petas were able to eat the food. And then with this food, their physical appearance began to change. They begin to look healthy with a golden complexion. And all the senses are intact. They had eyes, nose, ears, mouth, and limbs, and all that. So they appear to be good looking because of the food that was offered to the Buddha. And then the king offered robes and the sleeping and dwelling places to the community of the monks. And the Petas received beautiful clothes and houses to stay. On seeing this, on seeing what is really happening to the Petas, wow, King Bimbisara was overjoyed. After finishing the meal, the Buddha blessed King Bimbisara and gave him the discourse of the Tirokudda Sutta, which contains 12 verses. The discourse mentioned about relatives wandering without food and shelter. And when we make offerings in their memory, they will be able to consume the food and drinks, especially when we reflect. Now, our relatives who is no longer here with me has given me this and that, has given me this, he's done this for me. Now let me make this offering. Let us make this donation in their honor, in their memory. And the sutra says that just as rain has fallen on the mountains, the rain will flow to lower ground. In the same manner, the merits that we have performed and transferred to our previous relatives will go to them. And so at the end of the discourse, the people and other beings begin to realize the problem of being born in the Petra world. And then they receive the sense of urgency for religious practice. Yeah? So this is not only taught to King Bhimbisara, because there were many of the people who were in the royal court, and they heard this sutra from the Buddha, and they realized that, okay, surely we are not going to be born in the Petra world, and let us now practice the Dharma, have religious practice, and do charity. So the Tirokudda Sutta teaches us to think about our departed relatives and transfer merits to them to bring them relief, because some of them could actually be trapped in the hungry ghost world, and the relatives are not necessary from our current birth, because we have previous births before, right? And so therefore, the story behind the Tirokudda Sutta is the Buddha's advice on how we should go about transferring merits, and this is something that we should do during the Hungry Ghost festivals. Also, for those of you who are participating in some activities that we organize in BGF, like rope offering, that we're going to have later on in Deepavali, please come and participate, because this is an opportunity for us. And there's also going to be Sanghika Dana, giving dana to the Sangha. This is an opportunity for us to make good merits, and this merits is something that we can actually share with our departed ones. You can also share with the devas and all that they rejoice in this merit, but also with our departed relatives. Some of them could actually be trapped in hungry ghosts. So they were not really that generous when they were alive. They were stingy. They were clinging to so many things, and then when they pass away, they landed in the hungry ghost world. So as part of our duty, if we think about what we have received from them, this is the opportunity now for us to try to help them out, perform some merits and transfer the merits to them. Okay, so that is the Tirokudda Sutta. It's very interesting. So it's something that I like to recount, especially when we come to the 7th month. Something for us to remember the significance of transferring some merits. So with that now, let us proceed with our metta, or practice of metta. When we practice metta, please make ourselves, our mind, clear of hostility or negative emotions. Just as we would like to be in a place that's comfortable, away from noise, and that we can sit down and meditate undisturbed, we need also to clear our mind from anger, enmity, and grudges, because this will work against metta. Sometimes the anger, source of the anger, seems to come from others, but it also comes from ourselves. Sometimes we're angry with ourselves. We get frustrated because we can't achieve our goals, and so we carry these forms of hostility and negative emotions with us. So if you want to do metta meditation, please put this aside. We have to put this aside and make your mind clear and free from worries and anxieties. No baggage. Don't carry baggage with you for us to practice metta. All right. So in our practice of metta, we will make use of 4 wishes. The first wish is, may my heart be peaceful and free. So the first is for the heart to be peaceful. Second is for the mind to be happy. And third is for the body to be healthy. And the final wish, which ties up everything, is, may I be well and happy. So you can make use of 4 wishes if you have been practicing this metta with us. And so it's easy to make the wishes, because if you do this every week, it becomes like automatic. But those of you who are fairly new, you don't have to do the 4 wishes. Actually, 1 wish is more or less sufficient. You just say, may I be well and happy, and that itself actually is just good. And the purpose of these wishes is just to bring up, they become like a catalyst to prompt the arising of love and kindness in our hearts. So it's not the words, the actual formulation that is important. It's the words that bring up this feeling of loving kindness. That is the purpose for these wishes. And so if you're ready right now, we will start with our metta meditation. But there are a series of things that we do before we start making the wishes. So I'll ring the bell, and then we can get started. As you listen to the bell, listen to the fading sound of the bell, because the bell will help our mind to become more focused, more relaxed, and to develop mindfulness. Gently close your eyes and just clearing your mind, making your mind clear and happy and relaxed. Take a few deep breaths. And as you do, you find yourself relaxing. Now we proceed on the practice of the inner smile. This is a traditional meditation practice to enhance good health and well-being. When you bring up your inner smile, a smile is normally connected with the radiation of peace, happiness, friendliness, relaxation. Okay, so put an inner smile that we send to different parts of our body, and if you like, you can say, may I be well, may I be happy, even as you put the smile. Let us now turn our awareness to the crown, to your crown, which is on top of your head, your crown. Put a smile on your crown. Let the smiling energy accumulate there. Is your crown peaceful and happy, relaxed? And now to your forehead, putting a smile in your forehead. And now to the spot between your eyebrows, relaxing, a smile there. A smile to your eyes, blessing your eyes with happiness and peace. To your cheeks, a smile for your cheeks. A smile for your neck. And at the base of your neck is your thyroid gland. Smile for your thyroid gland. So may the gland operate well in order to bring you good health. Blessing the thyroid gland with smiles. Now just proceed on to your heart. Open up your heart. Whatever negative energy trapped in your heart, let go of the tension and put a big smile in your heart. It's a smile that can warm the earth with love. And spread the smile to your lungs. And now to your solar plexus. That's just beneath your breastbone. The solar plexus is nerve center. It normally expresses itself when you have it is actually impacted by negative emotions. So when you're filled with frustration, anger, fear, unhappiness, this solar plexus will be the center that will get really tensed up. Sometimes it gets so tensed up that your stomach will be cramped and you get stomach ache because of that. So put a smile on your solar plexus, relaxing yourself. It's almost like the center of your body, solar plexus, very close. And happy solar plexus means bringing blessings to the surrounding organs. Now your liver, which is a large organ located on the right side of your body, blessing your organ, your liver with loving kindness, with a big smile. And at the back of your body, in between the spinal cord, will be your kidneys. Smile at your kidneys, blessing your kidneys so that may they function well, bringing you good health. It's your filter system. Very important for our good health. Blessing your kidneys, smiles for your kidneys. And to your left side, your spleen. Yeah, blessing your spleen with loving kindness. And close to the spleen with your pancreas. Your pancreas is resting against your stomach. It also helps in your conversion of food into sugar, into energy. And now to your digestive system, that's your stomach and intestines. Blessing your stomach and intestines so that you become trouble-free. You got a good functioning stomach that helps, that digests your food well, yeah, and also enable you to absorb nutrition from the food. That is the work of your small intestines and your large intestines. The whole intestinal tract to be healthy. And now the urinary system, yeah, your kidneys, your bladder, your urinary tract. And for the males, also bless your prostate gland, because males, when they get senior, they get older, tends to have issues with the prostate gland. So bless the prostate gland so that you become issue-free. And also for the females, just bless the ovaries and uterus. Bless them with smiles. Now let us go back to our breath, and just to refine our mindfulness, just being aware of your breath as it comes in and out in a relaxed fashion, just watching the breath, being alert to the movement of the breath, and to keep track, because it's the nature of our mind to wander all the time, to run away, wouldn't even want to stay for anything, for any moment. So one way of anchoring the mind is the breath, because the breath occurs constantly. So it becomes a very useful object for us to just turn our attention to. So each time when the mind wanders, that we know the mind has already wandered. And in order to help us, we can do some counting as well, from counting from 1 to 10. Upon reaching number 10, return back to number 1. And like when you're breathing in and out, that's 1. In and out, that's 2, and so on. Okay, so now let's watch the breath in a relaxed fashion. Just observe the breath, just watch it. Let us watch our breath in another manner, another way. As you breathe in, just relax yourself. And as you breathe out, smile in your heart and relax. And now we make wishes. We make wishes first to ourselves and then to others. So we fill ourselves with loving thoughts, with wishes of love and kindness, so that we can be a source of love and kindness, that we later on send our thoughts of loving kindness to other beings. So please don't forget yourself. Send loving kindness first to yourself. Embrace yourself with love and kindness. And you can even whisper these wishes to yourself and feel the loving wishes inside. And you know, when you keep on doing this, if you have been very stern with yourself, very critical with yourself, eventually you will turn, the critique in yourself will disappear and it will be replaced with a friend, a good, supportive, loving friend inside you. And that makes you feel a bit more composed, a little bit more peaceful. Otherwise, when you have a critic operating within you, wow, it's tough. Huh? It's like having somebody at our shoulder telling us, criticizing us all the time. So send loving kindness to yourself. For the practice this evening, we make 4 wishes. They are inspired by the Pali words, Pali wishes, which are also 4. So the first wish we make will be, may my heart be peaceful and free. And just think about how it is like to be free from harm and to be peaceful inside. The second wish is for the mind. May my mind be happy. Happiness, a happy mind. Third is a healthy body. May my body be healthy. And fourth, may I be well and happy, having a sense of ease and well-being. Okay, so the wishes must be kept simple, and we do not want to make too many wishes. And we want the wishes to be regular, so that it's very easy for us when we're meditating to say these wishes inside. But as I mentioned, if you are doing this, you have just started learning how to do metta, you might not want to dabble with too many wishes, become too complicated for you. Just make the wish, may I be well and happy, or may I be peaceful and happy. That's good enough, yeah. Because these words are to trigger loving kindness in your mind. They themselves are not a substitute for metta. So let us now send loving kindness first to ourselves. May my heart be peaceful and free. Just make sure that your heart is smiling. Do you see the smile in your heart? It's smiling, heart is smiling. May my heart be peaceful and free. Feel the love and peace inside you. May my heart be peaceful and free. May my mind be happy. May my mind be happy. May my body be healthy. May I be well and happy. When you say these words, feel the love and kindness inside you. May my heart be peaceful and free. May my mind be happy. May my body be healthy. Experience the good health running through your body. May my body be healthy. May I be well and happy. Now let us send loving wishes to the first group of people, our benefactors, people to whom we have derived a lot of kindness, compassion, sacrifice, love, and we have because of their love, they has made us into what we are right now. We have benefited from their knowledge, for their kindness. And the people in this group will include our parents, our teachers, our mentors, those who encourage us. So if you like to send loving kindness to your parents, for instance, your mother, the way you do it is just to imagine that your mother she's just right in front of you and she's seated, she's looking happy, she's a nice frame of mind, she's relaxed and happy. And you speak to her from your heart. You say, Mother, may your heart be peaceful and free. May your mind be happy. May your body be healthy. May you be well and happy. Regardless of where they are right now, always sending loving thoughts, wishing that wherever they are, may you be well, may you be happy. And you send the same happiness, same wishes to your father, to your grandparents, to your teachers, to your mentors, and to your friends who have supported you, especially those who have acted out of great kindness and even sometimes at great trouble in order to look after you. So now let's send our loving kindness, loving wishes to this first group of people. And now sending your loving thoughts to your immediate family members, to your spouse, your children, your grandchildren. If you don't have an immediate family of your own, you can send to your siblings and to your nephews and nieces. Now just imagine that all beings around you are gathered around you, and they have all assumed a human form. Let us now send our loving wishes to the beings in the forward direction. Beings in the forward direction, may your heart be peaceful and free. May your mind be happy. May your body be healthy. May you be well and happy. Beings in the rightward direction, making your wishes of loving kindness to them, rightward direction. Beings in the backward direction, beings in the leftward direction, beings in the downward direction, beings in the upward direction, let's pray for their good health and speedy recovery. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena saraswati bhavantu te. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena saraswati bhavantu te. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena saraswati bhavantu te. Let's focus our attention within and observe the peace and quietness inside. And we share the merits that we have gained with the Devas, our guardian deities and protectors. May they continue to guide and protect us while rejoicing in these merits that we are sharing with them. May they give blessings to our donors, our supporters of PGF. And may the world be blessed. Eta vatacha amehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbi seva sabbi satta sabbi buddha anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Now we transfer merits to our departed relatives and friends. Earlier, I've recounted the story of the Tirokudda Sutta. So now just bring to mind some of the relatives who have passed away, relatives and friends, as we transfer merits to them. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Let us make aspirations. By the grace of this merits, may we not follow the way of the foolish. May we always be blessed with wise friends and skillful teachers. May we remain on the path of Dhamma, never stray from the path, and may we one day achieve the highest bliss of Nibbana. Emena punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava Nibbana patiya. Let's have a closing invocation. O Buddha, my spiritual master and refuge, Thank you for the blessings, guidance, and protection. The Dhamma, holy saints and spiritual teachers, bodhisattvas, Dhamma protectors and devas. Thank you for the blessings, guidance, and protection. May the Buddha be at my head, the Dhamma in my heart, and the Sangha by my side to guide and protect me always. May suffering ones be suffering free and their fear struck, fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share in this marriage that we have generated. May this marriage help to bring them good health, happiness, and peace. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, to share in this marriage of ours. And may they long protect the Buddha Sasana. Let's say sadhu. 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 Sadhu.